Hey friends, we'll be back into this our video tutorial programming, a series video tutorial with OSP Pro in C++ programming. Now members, if again this is your first time again to watch this video, then I request you please make sure you subscribe to my channel for more new videos and more new notification when the videos happen to be uploaded. Now every Tuesday and Thursday we always make sure at least we happen to add a new video to our channel, and please you can always comment down on what maybe which type of video you would like us actually to make. Now again, I've said, now those of you guys maybe if you know you're interested and maybe would like also what known as books, I can also happen to send for you one. If I told maybe you would like one, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and then you give in your Gmail accounts. Otherwise I can always send you one if maybe you would wish to get one. Now in this video simply again today I'm going to be showing you simply how can you happen to define or what's the variable and identify and the data types. Now I'm going to simply use this simple video to explain those three terms to understand them. Otherwise if it is long I'll take it back to the next video. Now if there's nothing I have to let you know under variables, what's a variable? I'll simply define a variable as an element holding a place value of another element. Give assumption if you talk of maybe x and x is equal to 2 or 4. X is a variable equal to 4. So next time in the program, whenever the program will happen to see x, it will just interpret that x is storing 4. You get? That's what simply this statement means here for us. That if x is equal to 4, next time wherever we in the program, the same program, we happen to enter x, it will understand that x is equal to 4. That's a variable, just an element holding a place value of another element. And in another time or in another definition, another way you can define it still is that a variable has a variable simply refers to an element has the storage for another element. Otherwise that element always replace it out, and the same storage is having is for that element which is already declared to it at first. Now in programming we don't always leave our variables like that, because if you try to say, like I've explained to you in that definition, that with the variables we have to talk of the storage, and when talk of the storage we need to know the type of the storage also matters, because we have different types of storage in especially C++. We have integers, we have floats, we have a double, we have a string. You get? So if we have those stuffs and we like now to use what known as a variable here, that implies we have to call for something known as a double, meaning a data type. What's a data type? A data type refers to an element. A data type refers to the format in which an element is stored. Format, the type in which an element is stored. I've said an element, variable refers to an element holding a place value of another element. Just like x is equal to 4. Every time we shall be in this same program and happen to put x, it will just understand that x is equal to 4. Then I've said a data type refers to a format in which how an element is stored in a program. So what do I mean by that? Is that if this is x is equal to 4, like I've said to you, there are many formats in which how to store information. Otherwise, if I happen to just come and say x is equal to 4 like that, and I come down here and I come and try to tell the program to try to print for us that statement, our variable x. Get? If we want the program to print for us x, otherwise just put the x, and I happen to save, you'll discover that I'm going to get an error. The reason why I will get an error is because of this. X was not defined in this scope. Why? Because they don't know which format of storing x. So otherwise it cannot just print for us that x is equal to 4. So if you want the program to compute for you that x is equal to 4, we have to define what's x. I've said that. Get me clear? Yes, you have declared your variable, but again you have to know the data type. You get? Otherwise if you happen to say maybe int x, because int stores an integer. This is for integer. You get? So if I say int x is equal to 4, it will understand now that what you're giving the program is 4 and is stored as an integer. Otherwise it will print for you 4 here. You get? So in a simple term, that's how it is like. So if you try to say the value for x, it will give you 4. You get? So guys, that's how it is. And there's also another types of data types which I may list down for you here. We have a float, we also have a double which still handles numbers, we have a string. You get? Those are the few listed. There's also short int, there's long int, you get? There's also short double, long double, things like that, all of them. So that's how it is. I'm just giving a few, but that's how it is. Now let me take one by one and I try to show you how to behave with it. So that's an integer. Let me show another one in a float. How does a float also behave? So if you happen to come in here, compile that and try to run that, it will give you 4. Otherwise, for it can allow, if you have maybe 4 point that value, it will also print for you out with even the decimal place value, because the storage is there within the program. And that's it. That's why you can see it's giving you 4.4565. And the same applies to the double, you get, because all of them handles numbers with the decimal place values, but the difference is the storage. You find that one of the two, one of those stuffs has the more storage compared to the other. You get? The same applies someone writing a short double. The same thing will happen around short invalid for x, sorry for that, using short in front of a double. Sorry, you can use short in integers and float. Now that's it. So one thing I have to let you know here is that whenever using integer, for them they use for counting numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that, counting. Whenever using a float, we use them whenever we're going to be having a program to calculate numbers with the decimal place values. And whenever using a double still also handles numbers with the decimal place value, but the difference is the storage. You get? Now a double stores numbers with the decimal place values, but their storage is small. And a float, sorry guys, I said a float stores numbers the decimal place values with the decimal place values, but their storage is small. And a double stores numbers with the decimal place values, but their storage is big. That's the difference between a double and a float. Then a string stores letters, like someone's name, like a letter, someone's grade, things like that. Now let me just make this program simpler by just trying to define sort of something, if possible, using an integer. Then since I've already explained to you guys here, you can use the same logic on double and a float. For a string, I'll show you later on. Let me just show you one program. We define our program, maybe a program to calculate the area, maybe using the variable just to calculate the area of something, or just to add two numbers. Now to do such kind of things, program to calculate area of a circle. We all know that the area of a circle is same as having pi r squared, if that's it, if you guys still remember. So I can just define my constant here, or since you have not written constants, let me just make something simple, guys, so that you can actually make it out. So I may define my int radius, maybe radius is same as having maybe a 4, if that's it. We can also define the rest of the stuff. So since I'm going to have a double somewhere or a float somewhere, it's very good program to make everything to become a float, because I'm going to have a float somewhere within my program, because I talk of the pi, which is 3.14. So if that's it, 3.14 is really a float or a double. So talk of the area itself, that implies the result has to be also a float. So actually area, which we don't know, so I'll simply say area is equal to having one on us pi times radius, because that's what we have. And if I would like the program to compute for us, I'll just give in area. I'll say maybe the area is the area is what known as area. You get, so the area is that. So if I happen to compile here, hope there's no error, and try to run. So what am I trying to do here at the moment? We say this is the double, this is a float, because have a number as the decimal place value. I'm just doing that to solve my even a problem within the program, because if this is a float, this is not a float, it's an integer. At first I turn into a float because I expect to have a float somewhere like a pi, and that implies if the pi is a float, I expect my result also to be a float somewhere, because otherwise that's it, unless we want to restrict by then giving it an integer, because an integer do not see this decimal place values. It does not have the storage for the decimal place values, it only has the storage for the whole numbers. Hope that's clear. So let me compile this program, and if you happen to run, it will calculate for us the area of the circle, which is that. So guys, that's it. Please, if at all this video has happened to help you and has tried to summarize for you guys what known as a variable, data types, and what known as actually that those two stuffs, then it's good. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope it is a good video. Love you guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you all.